a podcast to honor the gods.
This better come with a sacrifice.
Dave X Media.
Being turned into a lizard can really mess up your day. As we stepped through the doorway, I tried to hide it, but I was feeling pretty bad. You're probably thinking, hey, you already turned into a falcon. What's the big deal? But someone else forcing you into another form? That's totally different. Imagine yourself in a trash compactor, your entire body smashed into a shape smaller than your hand. It's painful and it's humiliating. Your enemy pictures you as a stupid, harmless lizard, then imposes their will on you, overpowering your thoughts until you have to be what they want. I guess it could have been worse. He could have pictured me as a fruit bat, but still. Of course, I felt grateful to Sadie for saving me, but I also felt like a complete loser. It was bad enough that I'd embarrassed myself on the basketball court with a troop of baboons, but I'd also totally failed in battle. Maybe I'd done okay with Leroy, the airport monster, but faced with a couple of magicians, even clay ones, I got turned into a reptile in the first 2 seconds. How could I stand a chance against Set? I was shaken out of those thoughts when we emerged from the portal, because we're definitely not in Thoth's office. In front of us loomed a life-size glass and metal pyramid, almost as big as the ones in Giza. The skyline of downtown Memphis rose up in the distance. At our backs were the banks of the Mississippi River. The sun was setting, turning the river and the pyramid to gold. On the pyramid's front steps, next to a 20-foot-tall pharaoh statue, labeled Ramses the Great, Thoth had set out a picnic, with barbecued ribs and brisket, bread and pickles. The works. He was playing his guitar with a portable amp. Khufu stood nearby, covering his ears. Welcome to Of the Oldest Gods, where we discuss Rick Riordan's role as our godly parent.
I'm Raye, following the path of Geb.
And I'm Charlie, following the path of Bast. And what did we fucking do today? I'm just so lost.
Oh god.
Honestly.
Okay, well, let me tell you. We won an all expenses paid trip to death.
You know, okay, it's a great chapter title,
Mm-hmm.
but like I feel like it doesn't quite fit the chapter necessarily.
In a chapter where it's one conversation and nothing else happens, it gets rough. And also it is technically accurate. They do not pay for a boat. So I'm gonna give him this one.
All expenses paid? Like, who's paying for the food? Because you can't eat in the underworld unless the Egyptians have different rules.
I'm assuming some kind
I
of
don't
different
know.
rules. I don't know how long they're gonna be there. I don't know how long it takes to get there. Hopefully not too long. We're kind of on a bit of a time crunch.
Well, I would assume it just takes like the night because like.
Yeah. The sun cycle. Yeah, totally.
It's the same principle, so shouldn't take too long. But yeah.
I know we're gonna get to it, but my favorite bit is when Thoth points the wrong way, and then he's like, "Ah, damn! Your rivers run south in this continent. It's all backwards."
I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, this is a shorty.
It is. We've had shorter chapters when we were getting to the end of the last PJL book, but
that's true. All right, what happened in this one though?
All right.
Tell us. Why don't you?
So our man Thoth, delightful, love that guy. He's moving into the defunct pyramid arena in Memphis, so he teleports the kids there for their chat. He tells them they did a very good job, and he's really happy that they got him that Ong. He's very evasive about that whole cat and snake thing. Make a note of that, I suppose. He lets them know what they need for their spell. You know, it's some very like TTRPG shit. Like you have to.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
You've got to go get his secret name, and you need a feather of truth from the underworld. Easy shit. So he says that they can go to the underworld by sailing downriver, and he points out a convenient boat to do so, and then Khufu joins the party for this adventure. Yeah, one conversation.
I mean, conversation chapters. They do in fact happen on occasion.
It's good.
Well, you want to talk about some myth stuff, maybe?
Yes, please. What we got
Perhaps.
on?
Well, so in the chapter that we're going to technically meet this character who was mentioned in this chapter, we're going to talk about a different thing because that's more prevalent to the chapter.
Mm-mm.
So we're gonna talk about Amit today. So in case you missed it,
But
let's talk about Amit the Devourer.
I remember her from our moon nights.
Yeah. Let's talk about her, the main bitch. You know her. You love her. Amit. Is she not glorious? She is Amit, devourer of the dead. This says goddess. I'm pretty sure it's goddess, yet she's more of we like I said, we've already talked about this on the bonus show. Go check it out. But I'm pretty sure she's technically classified more as like a demon, which is just a different type of entity, not necessarily like a god. She's a creature. She's kind of on the level of a monster, but also like not.
But also she's really important, so I can see why she gets like bumped up to goddess status, sort of.
Yeah, I mean this is like a citation that I feel like needs something. Somebody in 2024 said that she was a goddess. So this is like a new information. We'll see. It says clarification needed as well. So I don't trust the Wikipedia that's saying that she's a goddess.
Right. It's somebody who watched fucking Moon Knight and was like, that's a goddess, right?
Yeah, probably. So most importantly, she has the forequarters of a lion, the hindquarters of a hippopotamus, and the head of a crocodile, because they're like the three largest man-eating animals known to the Egyptians at that time. So like she's got like the best things, honestly, right?
Hey,
she's got the scariest animals.
Aren't hippopotami vegetarian? Like I know they're herbivore. Like I know that they're like one of the most dangerous animals. I would not call them man-eating. Man-killing, 100%. Those things are fucking vicious.
I was gonna say, I think it's the point of like it's ancient Egypt. They don't know a whole lot about this creature, and
they know that it kills people. Yeah.
So like, it's not necessarily correct in it being man-eating, but it's fucking dangerous. So they're like our goddess or our creature who eats the dead. She's gonna be one of those. Yeah. So love this. Her name means swallower or devouress of the dead.
Very good.
That's pretty cool. Love that. Okay. Well, sometimes I guess it's maybe not just a lion, maybe it's a leopard, perhaps. But yeah,
makes sense.
Also, she has a mane, even though like her head is the crocodile.
That kind of slaps. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she's always got like a fancy mane. It looks very Egyptian. Okay, so as is kind of alluded to in the chapter, she's very important when it comes to the weighing of the heart in Egyptian religion. So when you die, we gotta find out if you're a good person or a bad person. And we have to weigh your heart, which is a piece of your soul. As we've, kind of already covered, there's the many parts of the soul. We have to weigh that against a feather. And so I was like, ooh, I should probably talk about the feather too. See if I can talk about that. There isn't really a page for that. It's just the feather of Ma'at. We already know about her. She's like the being of balance. And it's just an ostrich feather. It's her. She's the goddess of truth, sense. Feather of truth, all of that going on there. So you gotta weigh it against that, and if the heart weighs less than the feather, the deceased is pure. Yay! They get to go to the place. The good place. Good shit. And if the heart is heavier than the feather, they're bad. It gets to eat a piece of your soul, your heart, quote unquote, and you're kind of gone, but you're also not gone. You've died again.
Interesting. Because I was just conceptualizing it as being gone, but I guess that makes sense because you've got a bunch of different soul pieces, so even if your heart gets eaten, like, the rest of you can still suffer in the bad place, I guess.
Yeah. Like, there's like literally a good place here. It's the Field of Reeds,
Okay.
Aru, and that's where you get to go if you're deemed worthy. If not, you're just like a restless soul. Perhaps you're just stuck in the Duats forever.
So that's where you get like fucked up ghosts and stuff.
Yeah, you get to be a fucked up ghost. Yay, fucked up ghosts!
Woo!
Fun shit. Hey, yeah. I mean, like, that's like her most important thing. Is like that is her role, is being this creature who just devours you if you're not worthy.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily bad. I think she's just upholding Ma'at.
Oh yeah, she's not. I wouldn't think of her as being evil, like, despite the role that she does play in Moon Knight. Like, you know, she's just doing some important work down there.
And the thing is, so Moon Knight's not is technically the second media that I've come across where Amit is a villain.
Interesting.
So if I had a nickel for every time that Amit the Devourer was presented as a villain in a media, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, it was weird it happened twice. The other media is House of Anubis.
Oh,
where they're just like, oh yeah, like, she wants to become, like, greater than Osiris himself, or something. Like, yeah.
That's interesting. Like, it's sort of the opposite of what happens in Greek mythology, because I guess it probably happens to Anubis also, but, like, thinking about, like, how Hades gets villainized, but Thanatos tends not to, and then thinking about, like, how Amit tends to get villainized, and then Anubis is just, like, a neutral party.
Yeah, I don't think Anubis has ever been villainized.
I feel like I've seen it, but, like, not as frequently. Or I feel like I saw it in, like, my Egyptian-themed learning computer module game. It's... What were those fucking called? Like, Jumpstart or something?
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, they don't have, like, a pop culture section on the Anubis page, which is very annoying. So, I don't necessarily know if there's...
Oh, I'm not thinking of Jumpstart.
Modern
I'm thinking of,
interpretation?
like, fuck, what's the... I'm just gonna be Googling this. You continue.
Okay. So yeah, there's like a pop culture section for Amit, though, which mentions Moon Knight. It also mentions a cartoon called Mummies Alive. The main villain apparently summons Amit accidentally, and in there she's like a dog, kind of. She's like a small dog, and that's it. We got the Canes on here, and then we got one other TV series, Primeval. I don't know what the fuck that means, but she's some kind of being from this show that the Egyptians believed to be a god. Cool.
I found my video game. It was Clue Finder's 4th grade adventures, The Puzzle of the Pyramid. And I was wrong. I was thinking that it was like a jackal-headed person, but actually it's Set, who is the villain in that game, so...
There you go!
Yeah, Anubis tends to be pretty neutral, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and, like, Amit should also just be portrayed as neutral, or technically good, because she's a punisher of the wicked, is her role.
Which, like, is scary. You don't like that, you know?
I guess you could say she's akin to, like, the Furies.
For
a Greek equivalent there. Because, like, yeah, again, terrifying to bad people. Good people should not fear them, actually.
But then you have to be like, oh, how are they defining good and bad? And, like, and then you get into, like,
fair.
Yeah, your uncomfortable Christian guilt of it all. Where you're like, am I good enough to not be eaten?
Not the Christian guilt! No!
Which is probably an unfair comparison. I don't know how ancient Egyptians feel about Amit and the likelihood that they'll be eaten by her.
I just want her to be like a bro. I wanna chill with her, like have her as a pet. Like a giant man-eating pet.
Yeah.
Who I can sick on bad people. I don't know. I think she's cool. Like, imagine Anubis wants a pet. This is his pet. This is Anubis's pet, right? Or Osiris's pet.
Not to like spoil things, but that is kind of the way that we go with it in our Percy Jacksons, which is also interesting given how, I mean, not Percy Jackson, Kane Chronicles, I call them all Percy Jackson even when he's not there. Don't worry about it.
It's the Riordan-verse.
Yeah. So, like, you know, a lot of other depictions are going to make her into, like, a more, like, competent goddess, like your Moon Knights, and that's not really what we're doing. And I find that very interesting, like, the different directions that she gets taken.
She's just a weird little guy, okay? That's all she is. She's just a creature, and should be portrayed as such. That's my hot take. Stop making her a weird villain lady for no apparent reason.
See, I don't like defining people as bad and having their soul be eaten generally, but, like, you know, she's part of a system. That's not her fault.
She could instead, we could have her break the system and be like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to punish people.
But I do like her just as, like, a little creature who just, like, does that, you know?
It's like, oh, Amit, you could have a snack today.
Yeah, exactly. Like I don't think I'm not gonna assign morality.
All right, let's win an all expenses paid trip to death. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So we're back to Carter's perspective after he was a lizard, and boy howdy, he's not happy.
He did not like being a lizard, and I do not blame him. The description here is very, very good, because he's like, you've already anamorphed, so, like, you know, don't judge me for feeling bad about this when I was fine with the bird thing, because someone else made me do this, like, enforced their will and smashed me into, like, a form that they could fit into their pocket, and that did not feel very good.
Exactly. Like, having somebody force you to do something does not feel as good as doing something for yourself, right?
He did not consent to that. Like,
he did not consent, so it did not feel good. And he's just feeling like, wow, if I couldn't even face these, like, fake magicians, how am I gonna deal against Set?
I couldn't even play basketball against baboons. Like,
right?
Carter is just taking L after L.
Poor guy. Poor boy. Alright, so we go back to Thoth, and he's just, like, chillin'. He's not in his office. Yeah, we've emerged from a portal, and we're just, like, you know, having a picnic. I like it. I like the vibes.
I do like how we're hanging out in Memphis, which, you know, obviously there's a name thing, so that's funny. But also, I like that the Mississippi River is here, because if there is a North American Nile equivalent, it's the Mississippi. And so,
yeah,
like, that
exactly.
Thematically too. And then there's a giant ass fucking pyramid here. It's all coming together very nicely for Rick and us.
Yeah, like, Thoth's like, oh good, you're alive. And then Carter's just like, did you make a pyramid while we were gone? Like, bro? But no. You know, the vibe of ancient Egypt is just still here. Once again, we're talking about that shit. Like, the pyramids are just cool, man. People just like the pyramids. They make them all the damn time. And this one was a sports arena for basketball.
Love it. Love it. Very good. I didn't know about this pyramid, but yeah. I like that I know about it now. I wonder if that's still there. It's been a while since this was written. I'm gonna Google this.
I want to know which came first. Did Rick decide that we're gonna have a lot of basketball shit in this series? Or did he find out about this pyramid place that had basketball, and then he was like, that's the sport we're gonna have the monkeys be obsessed with. So I want to know how the idea starts. So it's an abandoned arena, and Thoth's like, I'm gonna move in. It's gonna have, like, my new, like, amazing lab. It's gonna be bigger than before. Love it. Love that for him.
I love it, yeah. It is very funny that the Memphians built him a big-ass pyramid and then just left it there abandoned. Like, they basically made him, like, a center of power to just move into.
Literally. Alright, so we give him the Ankh. Very cool, powerful magic from the Tomb of Elvis. That it is. It. Yeah, so they're mad about the Shabti, and he's just like, they're my best work. It's a shame to break them. I couldn't have you just, like, kill real people. And this line is great. Shabti make excellent stunt doubles. Very cool. Very cool. So if you ever need a stunt double in a movie, just use a Shabti. Good to know.
Okay, I was trying to figure out if this was the same pyramid. It is. It's now a Bass Pro Shop since 2015.
No!
They call it the Bass Pro Shop pyramid now.
Thoth, did you make it into a Bass Pro Shop? Oh my goodness. So you know that Robert's been going to like all the different like locations and shit from like the different the Percy Jackson series. I don't know if they're ever gonna do this for Kane, but if they did,
that'd be so funny.
Robert, you should go to the Bass Pro Shop.
The Bass Pro Shop pyramid, you know? That's where Thoth lives.
He's got a lab in the basement somewhere. I don't know.
Sick.
Or maybe he's just really into fishing now.
Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, so there were in fact recording devices in the Shabti, as Sadie like figured out already. Yeah. And Thoth is very impressed with Sadie. It's like, you controlled ISIS.
You both did a great job.
She didn't try to kill the guys.
Yes.
Like, good job. Carter, you were a great lizard.
And Carter's like that feels like a dig, but Carter's like, actually, I think he was being genuine. Like, I did a really good job having a really bad time.
Yeah, he's like reading into it a little bit, because he's like, there's genuine sympathy in his eyes, as if my failure had been some kind of test. Mm-hmm. Oh no.
Not like, I vibe with it. You know, sometimes you gotta have bad shit's gonna happen to you, and being prepared is always better than being unprepared. This is why children have to fall out of trees sometimes.
True. I mean, to be fair, he also didn't use Horace's powers or anything, like, to just wipe these guys out.
True,
he was just like, I'm gonna go protect Sadie, lizard.
Right, we didn't see that from his perspective, but presumably he was also dealing with that, like Horace being like, let me take over, I can unlizard us like so fast.
Yeah, probably. So Thoth gives the Ankh necklace to the statue of Ramses that's just here, chilling, cool. Yeah. I want to know what the significance here is going on with, but whatever. We don't have time to unpack this. Instead, we have to ask about the scroll, the little painting of the cat and the snake, and Thoth's just like, it's a cat and a snake. Uh-huh.
Sadie says, you're trying to give us some kind of clue, and Thoth says, who, me? Oh, maybe that's Carter. I actually can't tell. There's no dialogue tag. Whatever. Also, oh my god, I love Horace says, just kill him, and Carter says, shut up, and Horace says, at least kill the guitar. Very, very funny to me, specifically. I love when they are, like, kill an inanimate object. I don't know. Good bit.
Horace is against music. You heard it here.
Horace is against Thoth playing that fucking guitar, because he's shit at it.
Yeah. And Carter's just like, okay, is this about our parents? Like, tell us about this scroll. And Sadie's like, come on, Jehudi, tell us.
You know, I like that name, Thoth mused, but not so much when you say it.
Oh, iconic.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And he's just like, our deal was that I read the book, so I'm gonna tell you what the book is. Okay, cool. It's a spell to defeat set. We know that. How do we do that? Tell us.
So it's going to destroy his form in this world and send him back to the Duat. Very important information.
Yes. And you can only read it in Set's presence. It is a spell that you could read when you're right in front of him. Cool. That's going to be hilarious. So easy. But as you were saying before, this gets very D&D like components of a spell here.
Like, specifically, actually, it was reminding me of how big magic works in Monster of the Week. Like, these are exactly the kind of specifications you would need to use to, like, banish a hugely powerful being. It's very funny.
Because my brain was going to, like, we've never, like, paid attention to components in any, like, D&D campaign I've been in, but, like, I know they exist. I know it's, like, there's the verbal stuff, there's, like, an ingredient, and there's something else.
There's somatic, verbal, and ingredient, I guess. So somatic must be gestures, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, okay. That's what it is. Okay. So, like, which makes me think of the Pixar-inspired D&D movie, you know, Onward. Yeah. That's where I was like, oh, D&D has these things? Interesting. I did not know that. But yeah, so we need a verbal ingredient,
Right.
set secret name, and we need a physical ingredient, which is the feather of truth.
Neither of those are going to be very easy to get. So,
No.
you can only get someone's true name if you hear it directly from either them or from the person who loves them most. Like, they're the only people who can, like, actually pronounce it. Their secret name, which makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know why. Very Faye rules on that one. But
yeah,
this is probably why we've been thinking about Nephthys so much. Like, you know, she doesn't show up yet, but we know that she's important, and this is maybe why.
Yeah, could be. But it's the fact that, like, nobody loves Set. Well, he had a wife, actually. She's a river
did we
goddess.
Forget about this? Yeah.
Let's go find her in a river. There's the Mississippi.
It is right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't really know how to reach her, but presumably we know how to get to the underworld, so we're doing that first.
Yeah,
I keep saying underworld, that is not what it's called, but whatever.
Well, same difference. It's the land of the dead is what they're calling it here.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the Duat, technically. And so that's where we have to get the feather of truth. We have to go to the Hall of Judgment, and that's where the feather is usually weighed on the scales against your heart.
Mm-hmm. Is there only one of these? Because that could be a problem if like Anubis needs that back. I don't know.
I've already forgotten at this point if it's supposed to be multiples or just one, but like just get an ostrich feather at that point, right?
Yeah. Like it's interesting to me to realize that it's a special feather at all. I thought it was just like our average feather. Like feathers are like pure for some reason or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, what happens if your heart weighs exactly the same as the feather?
Did that come up?
It didn't, as far as I remember.
Okay, let's see.
Because I was thinking about it.
Well, you should have asked me earlier. Okay, let's see. Does it say anything? Because I feel like that should be like a specific thing, right?
What if it just balances out, man? Mm.
I feel like then you get to be the new host for the god Ma'at, actually.
That'd be pretty funny.
It's not saying anything, at least not on Amit's page.
Yeah, I'm assuming that just isn't supposed to happen. What it's making me think of, and I'm sorry for making these references that you don't understand, what it's making me think of is the god tier clocks in Homestuck. Homestuck has this fun narrative device where if you, like, ascend to godhood, you can only be killed if you are killed in a manner that is either heroic or just. You can only die when it's narratively satisfying. So I think that if you are neither good nor evil, and you just, like, come up even with the feather, that you just come back to life. They're like, you're not done cooking yet, go back.
Maybe that's how it works. Okay, there's a portion I missed here on the Amit page where it's like Egyptians were buried with a copy of the Book of the Dead, guaranteeing they would be successful at the Judgment of the Dead. Which case, like, Amit is left hungry, and these dead people are able to just bypass the lake of fire. Or it says the consecrated dead were then able to bypass the lake of fire. I don't know what happens then after that.
Interesting.
I'm very confused.
So, like, there's like a back path that you can go down where you don't have to get your soul judged, and you just need to take the book to know where that is, maybe? Is that what that's implying?
I think so, maybe?
That kind of slaps. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like that's cheating. You can't cheat death. You don't want to be Sisyphus. Come on.
It reminds me of the song in Hades Town. How to get to Hades Town, you gotta take the long way down.
Alright, so Thoth's like, so hopefully Anubis will be in a good mood when you go down there to steal his feather.
Happens every 1,000 years or so.
I love that. And how do we get there without dying? Well, you go down the river, you see. That way. Oh, the other way, actually. You know.
Yeah.
The river. Yeah.
Hilarious. Love it, love it, love it. Khufu jams out this, he shreds a fucking riff real quick on the guitar, and then he burps, and that was apparently some more form of communication, meaning that he'd like to come with them.
Khufu confirmed bard? So Khufu wants to come with them. He says he wants to come with them. He does not want to type doctoral thesis on quantum physics. So he's gonna chill with his buddies, Sadie and Carter. And Sadie's just like, okay, where do we get a boat to go down the river? Thoth's like, you have a boat.
You're pharaohs. You always have a boat, idiots.
Like, I don't know how to tell you this, but you're like royal blood or some shit. Just can summon a boat whenever the fuck you want it. So
I'm so charmed. It's a paddle wheel steamboat. Classic, amazing, big wheel keep on turning, proud Mary keep on burning, rolling down the river. That's what we're doing now.
And then Mickey Mouse enters and he, drives the boat for them. It's Steamboat Willie, guys.
Koof is a real one. I can't believe he's like, yeah, sure, I'll go to the land of the dead.
It's either going to the land of the dead or typing out a doctoral thesis. Which would you rather do? I think I'm with Khufu. Like, this is the better option.
No, I like doing boring things instead of stressful things, generally.
Taking care of some children while they go to the land of the dead, or typing on a computer, boring shit that's gonna make me want to die. Anyway, so,
So you're saying you're going to the land of the dead either way.
Exactly. And yeah, that's the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Thoth just disappears, and the barbecue's gone as well. That's
Bye,
rude.
bestie.
We didn't even get to eat any food. These kids, they're starving. When do they eat?
They ate on the airplane. I feel like I remember that. They got snacks.
That's true. They ate on the airplane, and that was the last time we've eaten. And that's the chapter. The next chapter is longer.
Did you check?
Yes. I always
minds. There were less tangents in this one, actually. So it's just gonna be a little shorty.
For stuff like this, where I'm I have to read a chapter at a time, I have 2 bookmarks. I place one at the beginning of the chapter, one at the end of the chapter. So I know when to stop. Yeah, that's just my system. Well, bud, we gotta do some plugs.
Oh, shit. I didn't think about it. I know that I had something that I wanted to do. Okay, yeah,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, guess what? I got a plug because I was late here today. So my plug is My Adventures with Superman, which is what I've been watching for the past 2 days.
Oh my god, I love that show. It's so good.
I love how immediately I start watching it. I'm like, I'm clocking that this animation is very familiar. Why is that? Why does it look like Voltron? That's because it's the same fucking animation company.
Yeah, y'all seen Voltron and Korra. Yeah, it's them.
Yeah. But it's very charming. I've only seen a handful of Superman things. I've seen the Arrowverse Superman stuff and the show Krypton, and that's it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna see Superman, the main character, the original story ish, but not.
Yeah, they're taking some very interesting liberties. I really like what they're doing. Yeah, very cool.
I was like, excuse me? Clark and Lois are already together? And she knows? Huh?
That show do not play around. Shit just happens.
Apparently.
What I think is good about My Adventures with Superman is that it's not embarrassed to be about Superman. They're like, Superman is a charming little guy, and that's what we're doing. And I'm like, yes, thank you. Finally, some good Superman content.
He's just a goofy little guy. Leave him alone. He gets to be so awkward. That's all that matters. And then Lois is over here being just everything. Yeah. And then Jimmy Olsen. Listen, I started watching that and I'm just like, why does he just feel like Bo from She-Ra? He's like the glue that keeps things together, but he's also he's just my 2 best friends, Clark, Lois.
Jimmy.
Yeah. Oh, Jimmy. Yeah, it's good shit. People should go watch it. And very good theme as well.
I guess what I've been thinking about recently is more TTRPGs. So let
Oh
me.
no!
I've been reading some other Powered by the Apocalypse ones, which is the Apocalypse World system that Monster of the Week is based off of. There's a lot of other games that are like using that same basis and just like branching off from that. So, a very interesting one, I guess, since we're talking about superheroes, is Masks: A New Generation, which is a superhero game about being teen superheroes on like specifically a teen squad and like going through an identity crisis. That's what that game is about, is having like fucked up teen drama and having an identity crisis because you're part of the fourth generation of superheroes in this city, and like you have all this other shit to live up to. And like dealing with adults. There's a system in the game called influence where people can try to change your stats, which are based off of how you feel about yourself, just by like talking to you and like, telling you how you are. And all adults automatically have influence over you, including villains. And so they can insult you and make you feel bad about yourself, and you're like, oh, I am a monster, and then your stats change. Like, it's really, really interesting. I haven't played it yet. I haven't even read the whole book yet. I've just been like watching a lot of videos and stuff about it, but it seems fascinating, and I only hear good things about playing it. So yeah, if you're interested in other like genres of games, yeah.
I can't play so many games. Oh, that sounds so good.
It's so fun, doesn't it? You get to make little guys, and they all have character arcs based off of their archetypes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we should at least make little guys at some point, just because it'd be silly.
Yes, absolutely. I like making little guys with you, the little guy. Supreme.
Yeah, I guess it's already time for us to leave this mortal coil.
Bro, what's up with this? What's up with this? It's been less than an hour. How?
Yeah,
we need more tangents. How did we do this to ourselves?
I guess we're just too good.
Clearly, we've gotten good at this. I can't do this anymore. Well, get the fuck out of my house. And I mean, I don't want to say go die, but like you gotta go to the land of the dad. So
I'm getting on the steamboat. We're going. Choo choo.
We're going. Choo choo. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Yeah. Well, yeah. Happy trails to you. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Of the Eldest Gods would like to thank its $10 and up patrons. This means you're either in the Savior of Olympus tier or the God Complex tier on our Patreon, patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. Thank you all so much for your support, especially Matt, our God Complex patron.
You can follow this podcast socials at Of the Eldest Gods Pod on Instagram and Tumblr. You can send us a message through the duat to oftheeldestgodspod@gmail.com. If you'd like to support us financially, join us at patreon.com/oftheeldestgods. By becoming a patron, you can join the Deus Ex Media Discord server, where you'll be able to chat with us and other listeners about the Riordanverse or whatever else. Our $5 patron tier also gets you access to Against All Odds, our monthly bonus show. There, we'll talk about a wide variety of topics, which usually have something to do with mythology, no promises. You can check out our merch store on Redbubble to find custom designs made by Charlie. Or if you cannot or do not want to support us financially, we'd really appreciate a rating, a review, or letting your friends and followers know how much you love the podcast. That really helps. If you want to hear more from me, Raye, check out Barbie Movie Slap, a podcast where my co-host Ted and I discuss Barbie's cinematic universe. That podcast's Twitter is at Barbie Slaps.
You can follow me, Charlie, at GreenPixie12 on most platforms. I also have an art Instagram at GreenPixieDraws. You can also hear my voice on 2 other podcasts. I co-host another podcast on the network with the meme maker Robert, called The Bits, where we talk about the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. I also co-host a non-network podcast with my buddy Ethan called Mysteries in the Machine, where we talk about all things Scooby-Doo. Our music was created and produced by Isabel Strauss-Riggs. You can find Isabel at Kane I, that's I is in the body part, on Instagram and Twitter. She also currently makes video essays on the YouTube channel Kane I. Feel free to message her about making music for your project or editing your podcast.
Of the Eldest Gods is based on the series by Rick Riordan. Right now we are discussing The Kane Chronicles. Remember to follow us on your favorite podcatcher and meet us back here every Thursday.
Coffee, tea, honor, cabbage. Long ago, the four elements lived in harmony. Then, shit went totally cray when the Avatar attacked. Only the Cabbage Man, merchant of fine cruciferous vegetables, could stand against his trolling. But when the world needed some dank veg, he vanished. 10 years have passed, and my partner and I have started a new podcast.
My Cabbages! An Avatar podcast.
A weekly show about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Whether it's Sokka's new line of cologne.
Hey, look at you, sitting there on a seal. Well, now look back at me. I'm on an even bigger seal. Now look away.
D&D related antics.
You have to make an acrobatics check for that, and Aang just unzips his pants and whips out his d20s. He's just I got this.
Or randomly breaking into song.
Go bending waterfall.
We'll stumble our way through the greatest show ever made, one episode at a time.
You can reach us at CabbageCast, which is our Twitter, or
subscribe wherever you catch pod.
Rotten cabbages? What kind of slum do you think this is?
I was looking for my gloves.
Oh.
I don't remember where I put them. It's fine. Everything is fine. I'm just gonna freeze to death.
Literally
Maybe.
tragic.
Deus Ex Media.